Hello, wonderful people. This is a very special day. We have with us today Gela Le Roux from George in South Africa, from the beautiful Garden Route where we live and work. And hello,
Hi.
where we want to show you a little bit of the people that work here. Tell us a little bit about your story. I think you have a very, very, very unique story, very special, and you are also, in a certain way, very much connected to this place where we are here in the Garden Route.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. It's such an honor to be able to share my story. And yeah, I'd like to introduce me. I'm Gela Le Roux. I'm a girl born and bred in Wilderness in the Western Cape in South Africa. And I'm actually still based here. We are actually overlooking the beautiful ocean at the moment. And this really is home for me. And this is where my whole story started, 31 years ago, if I can put it that way. So yeah, born and bred in George. And yeah, just to give you a brief overview of, just how my life has evolved. So growing up as a little girl and as a young teenager, I had quite a challenging childhood. I think, I had a beautiful childhood. I mean, I was raised by two beautiful parents, but I had some challenges and some emotional issues, just growing up. And as I went through my teenager years, I always had this sense of purpose and a sense of something bigger, something greater, something that I had to give back to in the sense of, sometimes you feel like you can't just waste space on earth. And I just had this deep urgency and deep feeling of purpose to just mean something to someone, I think my whole life evolves around just, helping others and just, making others smile and happy and just carrying that spirit of joy, if I can put it that way. So basically from, like I said, from the teenager years going forward, I, became a mom. I've got two beautiful children. And then later on, I entered Miss South Africa. And for me, that was the very first time, from school, basically taking up, the modeling and pageantry world again. So I thought, this is an amazing platform to share with other women and just to see, what opportunities can come from this and how one can grow as a person going through this journey. And I must say it's been one amazing just lifetime experience going through everything, meeting some awesome women with so much purpose, so much passion, so much drive and ambition, and women who wants to help, change the world and just, starting by their own communities, doing what they can to just help, one another. So that's basically when I entered, and then later on I was very lucky enough to be crowned the first princess, which was amazing. I was so happy about it. I never expected to be in the top 5, even. I honestly didn't. There was amazing competition. And it was just so amazing to be able to grow with the Mrs. South Africa brand and just all the sponsors and to be able to reach out in our communities. And since then, I've been just, chasing my career again and, just being a mom full time. So just trying to juggle everything at the same time. But nothing stops at any point. You're just constantly evolving and constantly growing with what's on your, put on your plate. So overall, just been an amazing journey so far. And there's so much detail. So it all depends how far in detail we are going, but I can share some more.
Wonderful. That's really special. And tell us, like, the way from Miss South Africa, like from all this, like really like glamour, coming back to this a little bit laid back garden route. Was it difficult for you, or even easier for you, like to experience this but come back home in a like little safe haven? Or was it like, oh my gosh, this is so boring?
So definitely, I must say, so with the Mrs. South Africa, journey that we went through, I went to Johannesburg at least once a month, and I would go over a weekend, and we'd have our events, have photo shoots for our sponsors, creating content, and then also, having some outreaches and just like sisterhood programs that we did. So that would be like once a month. I would fly up, and it's exciting, and you get there, and it's like, this vibey Johannesburg. And then you come back, and you're right, you come back to this really laid back town, it's the beach, everyone is so relaxed here. But I must say, like, all in all, in my heart, I feel I am a city girl, but wilderness specifically is the best place on earth. Like, this is my safe haven, this is home. I always say, like, one day I want to have a house here again, because it's one of those places that you go to and you just feel you can relax and just be yourself. So I think at the end of the day, it was, juggling the busy life with just, being, more in your comfortable space with your children, because ultimately this is the lifestyle that we want to offer our kids. We want them to experience, safe, to be able to go on hikes, to be able to go and jump into the ocean. And so lifestyle wise, this is the perfect, place to offer our families. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the city, but I do like going there once a month.
So if you had to like explain to people maybe outside Africa what the garden route is all about, how would you describe the garden route? Like, if you would have to tell the people, like, where is the place that you live? Because I mean, I know it for us, like when we tell people where we live, they say like, where, how? And then and then we'll have to like explain to them, like, what is the garden route, or what is the garden route for you?
Yeah. So when I think of the garden route as a whole, I think of a sunny, moderate climate, just as like a happy place to be. Nature-wise, we've got everything from Tsitsikamma, all the way down to Mossel Bay, Riversdale, Swellendam. It's actually such a big area, around us. But specifically the heart of the garden route, I think my favorite is Knysna Wilderness. And driving along to Mossel Bay, it's just, we've got the ocean, we've got the beautiful mountains, we've got so many hiking trails there. So I specifically love trail running, and for me, one of my highlights is putting on my trail running shoes and just going into the forest. That is just, for me, there's so many different hiking routes here. And then we've got the beautiful ocean, we've got lakes, rivers, and just this awesome temperature. It never gets so cold here that you feel like you're going to die, if I can put it that way. But at the same time, it's never that hot that you feel like you can't live here. So it's just like this absolute perfect, moderate, and safe place. I must say, I feel very safe here still, compared to, when we go to Johannesburg or, to one of the bigger cities. We can still, relatively be safe here and go for our walks, go for our runs, and, just enjoy the lifestyle that it has to offer.
Yeah, that's really true. People asking us very often, like, are you not moving to Cape Town? And I say, even Cape Town is beautiful. I go there like for a day or maybe even a week. But then it's enough, actually. Then I have enough of Cape Town. And then I come back. And even the way coming here, like driving from Cape Town to the garden route, this is already like a day of holiday. Like, this is so beautiful. I don't even need to buy. That already gives you peace of mind to come back and to have these very different landscapes from Cape Town towards here. And I really love to stay here. And this is what you say. This is a happy place, and like we feel it same like you. And this is where we actually like recharge our batteries for everything that happens outside of this little place.
Definitely. And I must say that the other thing, just specifically thinking of this area, is the people around here are so down to earth. You've got humble people, your everyday, sort of people. Everyone, just embraces you as friends, and it's just such an easygoing, relaxed atmosphere, which I really like with specifically with people. So no, definitely this is the best place.
So what do you think? Because I think a lot of people might think, okay, now she's been I mean, she is a model, but what are the business opportunities in the garden route for Gela Le Roux? What is it that you're currently doing here? And do you see maybe also a distinct difference, or maybe even more opportunities in a place like this, because it's not overcrowded, because maybe it's not like in Cape Town or in Johannesburg, you can maybe we still leave a mark here in this area,
Mm,
whereas maybe compared to like the cities, it might be
mm.
different. So what is your take on it?
Absolutely. It's so true what you're saying, because you when you are in a large crowd, you're just another number. And staying in this area and doing work here, you just, specifically if you can get yourself to a level where you are the best in the business, then you've got such a flying chance to make your business successful. So I'm currently the PR and marketing manager for B6 Group. We are multinational, intercontinental group of businesses. And we actually have one of our, business sides is B6 Productions. So we actually do local and international film productions. And we offer the full service, from crew to accommodation to visas, permits. And then we also do international film productions in Croatia, Italy, Serbia, Slovenia, Montenegro, Macedonia. There's a couple of them at local production costs. So, being in the film business over here, we are the only big company at the moment in the garden route that I'm aware of. And, as opposed to Cape Town or Johannesburg, and we've got the whole garden route, we've got the most stunning locations. So, anyone who wants to come and film in South Africa, specifically along this coast, we've just have such a stunning portfolio to use in the productions. And I think that just sets us apart, being in the garden route as opposed to in Cape Town and Johannesburg, where you've got a lot of production companies. So very grateful for that. And then obviously, I always say it's also what you can take on as well. I do motivational speaking from time to time. I do a lot of charity work. And that for me really is my passion at the end of the day, is women empowerment. So I always try and incorporate, especially on a business level, to try and collaborate with like-minded individuals, with women who wants to, grow their business, but also has a heart to help other women. That's sort of like my main focus. But obviously at the end of the day, we all have careers as well. So so that's how I founded Hadassah Movement. It's something I'm very special and dear to my heart. And it's actually sort of, it's coming from this whole sense of purpose and of, wanting to make change and a difference. I was just like spending some, quiet time, just thinking and reflecting, and, like you sort of, write down your goals and your dreams and aspirations, and, sort of what's the next step. And then I got this name Hadassah, and when I actually, looked it up further, it was the Hebrew name before Esther became Queen Esther. And it actually is like a girl going through all the preparations, for the day or the time where she's actually going to walk into her purpose and be the change. So for me, Hadassah Movement is all about getting women together to just share their stories, your life experience, your story, maybe something you've gone through, something difficult or challenging, or maybe you're a business mentor and you want to mentor other women who want to be entrepreneurs. It's such a wide platform that I'm busy growing, and that I want to hopefully one day take international. That would be the biggest dream, to have a global movement where women connect, and we can get together and have conferences together, and just encourage and motivate and inspire each other. At the end of the day, that's really my heart.
That's great. Tell me, I have here plans that specifically in George, there are plans for a bigger like media and filmmaking hubs.
Yes.
Do you know anything about this, and what do you think will it do for the region itself?
Definitely. So they're talking about a massive, like Hollywood. I think they're calling it Sallywood, that they want to call it, and it's going to be huge. I mean, they're going to invest, millions and millions of rand, and they are planning to make the Garden Route the biggest film destination. So I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take for us to get there, but just being here at the moment and sort of already having our foot in the doorstep, it's just we already have that opportunity to grow the company here. And then once we have the film industry over here, it's just going to boom. I think economically as well, there's so many families moving to George every month. It's like if you can buy property or you can buy a house in George at the moment, it's a booming economy. So this place is just going to grow and grow, and later on it's going to be very hard, I think, to find accommodation here. Even I know people are struggling to find rental properties, for instance. So no, definitely George is such a booming place, and film-wise, I think it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the day that they actually put it up for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then we in Hollywood, like that is like that.
Exactly,
That's
yes.
interesting. So then we all will live in Hollywood.
Yeah, we can all become movie stars.
Do you think that also? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think also like fashion productions would come here? I know of like maybe from Europe, like magazines or catalogs, like fashion catalogs. As far as they will still survive the future, the hard copies. They a lot of these shoots in Cape Town in the past. So do you think like one could convince bigger fashion brands to shoot here? Do you think that's possible?
Yes, I think one of the biggest things lacking in the Garden Route is agents who are connected internationally. I think our agents that we've had over here, just in the industry, in the modeling industry, in the fashion industry, they all end up going to Cape Town or Johannesburg. And I want to say, like, the really connected and well networked agents are not here. So I think if we can establish agents over here that can just network and connect with them, because I feel like the Garden Route is the most beautiful area. It's debatable with Cape Town, but I feel it's the most beautiful place in South Africa. And I just feel that if people internationally were to know about the Garden Route, they would rather come here than go to Cape Town or Johannesburg. But once again, it's that whole idea of the fashion hub being in the city, being in Cape Town, being in Johannesburg. So if we can present the international market that we have a professional production company up to the same standards that you get in the city, I'm sure they will definitely come. So I think it's all about networking and just getting connected with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
We still have to get flights again. I think
Yes.
that is like what
That's
we
the
have.
first thing.
That
And
would
I
be
mean, we're
great.
very blessed. The airport in generally, and the airport is growing. And I also hear that there are plans for the airport to be like renovated and made just also bigger. And I think that's for the entire region. So there is something like, I mean, there is something good in everything.
Yeah.
Maybe taking a little bit back, like, or going back into your like life, or like a little bit to your mind as Gela Le Roux. When you entered the competition for Mrs. South Africa, so were you like, what was your goal? Like, was your goal to win, or like what was the idea behind it? Were you like, okay, you wanted to take as
Does not everybody want to
no,
win?
but I know that some people just like did it out of the fun for it, but they never had the really like the goal to win, but they just wanted to participate.
I think,
So
yeah.
that was like this, yeah.
I think a lot of so we've started out as the top 100, and then they chose top 25, and then for about a year we were top 25. So we had different tasks different fundraisers. We had all these like projects that we had to do. It was almost like participating in like a year-long, how can I put it, like a game show. Can I almost put it? Well, game shows, for the lack of a better word. But just in the sense of, we were so involved from a daily aspect into what was required, and just in terms of how they grew us as women. So walking into Mrs. South Africa, if I had to take a photo and a memory back to that first day there, and how much I've grown up until this point, 3 years later, we are just, can't compare the same person to that person who walked in there that day. It's just something that boggles your mind. But at the same time, you think of so many challenges and things that you went through as well, because the moment you put yourself on a platform, you also open yourself to people and people's opinions of you, and also just constantly, having to maintain being a role model, because at the end of the day, that's what the Mrs. South Africa brand stands for and aspires to. And I think a lot of girls who enter may enter for the wrong reasons, and I must say, I think the judges see through that pretty quickly. It's something that you can just pick up straight on. If you're talking to someone, are they sincere? Are they genuine? Are they here for the right reasons? Or is it personal gain? So for me personally, just going back to that, I just have this memory of me. I used to sing in the worship band in church, and I used to sit by my godmother, and she would play a piano, and we would sing together. And just having these memories growing up, where I was just always, either helping out or being involved somewhere. When I entered, I really just wanted to enter a platform with women where we can share our stories and we can help each other. I think because I went through so much in my life, I just felt like, that is the right platform to be able to connect with women and connect with people who needs help or needs motivation or inspiration, or just needs, for financial, maybe it's just something like they want to start up a career, but they don't have the finances to do it. So, we do a fundraiser and we try and help them. So for me, it was definitely about, that sense of purpose all along. And I think, like I said, when they announced top 5, I literally was shocked, because I didn't think, in a way, I've always felt like I'm not good enough, if I can put it that way. And I think a lot of us feel, sometimes you want to apply for that job, or you want to apply for, you want to do something that you think is amazing, but you just don't feel like you have it or you are good enough for it. And I was a very shy person. Growing up as a girl, I was very shy. I would not go and speak with any guy on school. I was just, doing my own thing. And then, entering this competition, our first or second video, you are so nervous, and you're just so shy, and you don't know, is this really, am I really cut out for this? And then you see the process to where you've grown, and you just realize how much confidence this has just given you as a person, not even in a pageant world, because at the end of the day, we don't call this a pageant. It's not, for us, it's not a pageant. For us, it was a women empowerment program. And just being able to grow as a person, and just being confident in who you are, being unapologetic about who God made you to be, and just owning yourself in that sense. I think for my personal, just in terms of my self-worth, it's done amazing. Just to believe in yourself and believe that you can, obtain your goals, and you just, any drive or any ambition that you get there after, you feel like nothing is too big for you to accomplish. So that was the one part of it. And like I said, the other part for me was definitely just always having a purpose. And I think one of the parts I enjoyed most was just getting to know the other girls, because we became like best friends. These girls, we constantly spent time together. We did all these projects together. And you really just, later on, they like sisters to you. So that was amazing. I must say, just going through that whole experience.
That's amazing. And I think or what I would like to is, I think a lot of girls, like ladies, they look up to people like you. I mean, you are a role model for a lot of girls out there. what is maybe the message that you can like give those girls? Because I mean, right now we are in a very difficult time, not only due to COVID, but just also listening to the president's speech the other day. I mean, ladies and the status of ladies has a very difficult stand in our society right now. And I think a lot of people, they might say, well, it is because of how you dress, of how you behave, of how you look like, that you're putting too much makeup here and there. I personally obviously do not believe that. But just coming out from this beauty like and modeling industry, and obviously also having a certain title, what is your message to the girls and the ladies that to you and say, I want to become like you? Like, is there something that you can give them, that you say, you know what, like you say, like believe in yourself, like really like work on yourself, but also like don't let anyone put you down. You have the right to be just as you are. Maybe there's something along that line that you can like tell those out there.
Definitely. I think the one thing that really stands out for me is remaining true to yourself and to who you are before you start anything like that. One of the biggest things we see with like this women empowerment program and with many other pageants around the world, the moment girls start entering, they start changing and they start changing who they are, and one of the first things that the industry, for instance, would tell you is to get hair extensions or get lash extensions, and you kind of almost, I don't want to say you fall into that whole thinking, because that's sort of the industry standard. Even with Miss Universe and Miss World, and there's so many there's this whole idea of beauty. And what I really loved about specifically Mrs. South Africa that we've done was, we were all moms, we were all none of us were like professional models at that stage. So it was sort of like the first time you up on stage, or maybe like you did it back in school, but this is like the first time again, So a lot of the women were real relatable women. It's not your usual models that entered this one. And one of the first things, like I said, that really stood out for me was the girls who remained true to who they are, because up until today, those girls are still who they are, but they have evolved and have grown so much along the way. So I think if you can try and not change who you are as a person, yes, you have to work on yourself, and yes, you can, make your hair, look appropriate for your face, and there's all those technical things that stylists look at, but not changing who you are as a person and changing for someone else. And I think that was so great about our Miss South Africa, Zuzubini, was, she had no extensions when she, did her Mrs. South Africa, her Miss South Africa, sorry, Mrs. And she was just her natural self. And I think that really stood out to the judges, that we have a raw, authentic beauty here, because beauty at the end of the day is something that flows out of your heart. I mean, you can look pretty and you can do everything to make yourself look beautiful, but on the inside, our personality and who we are, that's really what touches other people. And that's really, that inspires other people. So if I can really just give a message to any woman out there, young or, even if you're looking at entering something like Mrs. South Africa, is just to remain true to who you are, evolve and grow as a person, but just don't change to fit into the box that you think you should be. Because that's what the judges also, and not only judges, but that's what people around us want. They want to see the real you.
I also believe like that from the modern and beauty industry, that it is even more like, or even harder to go into like incorporate into business, because a lot of people maybe just see in you a beauty queen, a model,
A stereotype.
But they don't expect, don't get me wrong, but this is like very often the case. They don't expect serious business. But you have proven actually that those two things can go together. So you can be
Mhm.
a beauty queen, you can be
Yeah.
beautiful and a model, and you can also be clever enough to be a business person.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
how that actually came along on your business, on your life?
Yes. So I've had some amazing opportunities directly, from Mrs. South Africa and from going through this whole experience. Especially where, people are looking for brand ambassadors or they're looking for you to represent their company. So there's been that part which was amazing, and people inviting you to come and do motivational speaking, which I absolutely love. I think I get so excited on stage. I end up running and screaming and shouting like those real African Americans. So for me, that part was just amazing. But the other part that you're saying is so true. I mean, I remembered a while ago, I put out my CV and I was looking for to work again, and I can't tell you how many people that I applied to just immediately, how can I say, put you in a box of, you look too much like I would say like a model, or you must try and look ugly for your photos. That was the biggest message I got, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You immediately stereotyped in the sense of, she's blonde in the first place, so that's already like a tick off the box, if you're looking for someone to employ. And yeah, just typically, I think also, especially women, some women, I don't want to say if, but when we were looking for sponsorships and looking for people to sort of invest in our Mrs. South Africa journey, I found it a lot harder with some women to grab onto the opportunity, because I think women also are so skeptical of the industry and of other women, and how sincere people are. So there's definitely challenges to the stereotype, and also in terms of, even just with friends. You have your friends before you start out this competition, and then during this journey, you actually see people who stick with you, and then you see people who don't. Some people just quietly, I want to say exit your life, but without anything happening. But just in terms of, it's not something that's for everyone. But at the end of the day, there's so many other amazing benefits. So it's all what you do with it at the end of the day. It's got its benefits, and it's got the positive things of what you can take from it. But it all depends your attitude and just how hard you're willing to work. And I think for me specifically, I'm a little bit of a workaholic. So I sit at night and I like to work until 12 o'clock and, do my emails and check up on things. But that's just my personality. And that's the thing, trying to explain that to someone on paper, it just doesn't do it justice. So I'm hoping this stereotype, at some point, I think that's why we want the Mrs. South Africa brand to grow into more relatable and, everyday women, as opposed to looking like models. Because, in our industry and in our environment, it's something that's actually outdated. So they're trying to modernize it by saying we're the modern women. So we business women, we moms, we wives, we all these things in the Mrs. South Africa brand. But at the end of the day, you're still relatable and real. I think that's the biggest thing.
Just tell people now, I'm talking about business, like if they are interested in collaborating with you, like obviously as like Gela Le Roux, but also if they may be interested in the garden route as like a location, and I think like what you offer as well as like location scouting and really like telling people where their brands could be best placed. Like how can they contact you, or how, like what platform do you use for people to contact you?
So definitely, I'm always open to collaborations and, just working together, whether it's like filming, whether it's photography, videography. Even if I myself are not involved in, I'm also sometimes backstage behind the scenes, or as a model, or presenting on it. The platform to use is B6 Group. So I'm directly affiliated with B6 Group, B6 Productions. And yeah, we can definitely, talk about any sort of collaboration and customize it around the client's need as well. And we also believe in aligning brands to, really standing for the values that we stand for, but also joining with companies who sort of uphold that same standard and values. So yeah, we would be more than delighted to collaborate together.
We will prove this next week. So tell us like a little bit about like your dreams. What are your dreams? And I mean, like, obviously of us in this last couple of months, our dreams have cut a bit like short. But nonetheless, we all have dreams, and we just like believe, and I hope this belief will not actually be like crossed, that in a half a year, like, we have another world which is maybe coming a little bit back to a kind of a normal new life. For this next half year, we all see that will still be a bit very exceptional, and particularly here in South Africa, while like in other parts of the world things are already like be eased. But nonetheless, there's dreams and there's plans. Tell us a bit about this.
What is your vision?
Yeah.
Yes, so this is one of my favorite parts, because I always, always love it when people have dreams and have something that they can look up to and look forward to and work towards. I think, I've got a couple of dreams, but if I can lay them out, so one of the first ones that I'd like to do at some point is to write a book. I really want to write a book on my journey, and just in the sense of, my challenges, what I went through, how I overcome certain things that I went through, and my failures. I think, at the end of the day, as much success as we have, it doesn't come without failure. So just to put everything together in a book and just create an inspiring story to, once again, to women out there, who might be going through challenges in their lives. So writing a book is definitely one of them. I haven't started, but that's something I'd like to do. And then I think career-wise, I've got so many different interests. So I'm actually a qualified interior designer. That's, by paper, that's my trade. But that's only something I do on the sideline. But I think later on, I want to, in a way, connect all my different business ideas, so from, working with B6 Group, B6 Productions, later on to collaborate and just overall being a businesswoman. I think for me, I love career being part of my life, and I think it's something that just, stimulates me mentally, it keeps me going, it just keeps me healthy. So just adding on to those businesses, but also growing the Hadassah movement. Like I said, I think one of the biggest dreams for me is to have a global movement and be able to, go to America or go to Australia and actually have, like centers that are put up, with women and taking women in and, helping and equipping and, actual centers helping people. I think not, at this stage, we're an online platform. We're connecting through social media, but I'd really like to see this happening, in person, and women getting jobs and being uplifted, and just like a massive movement, bringing all these women together. So I think that's more or less, part of the dream. And then also, I think one of my biggest dreams is taking motivational speaking much bigger, bigger sort of experiences and just pushing myself harder and further. And, there's nothing more exciting for me to be in front of a crowd of ladies and just get them worked up and excited and motivated. And, for me, that's one of my biggest passions. So I think that all connects with, at the end of the day, with Hadassah movement, with being a career woman, being a mom, everything, just sort of the same thing. I think that the biggest thing at this stage is time. We've got so little time, and I've got two busy kids, which I absolutely adore, but they are at that stage where they, and especially with lockdown, we've been homeschooling. So they need a lot of attention. So I try and work in these dreams, when everyone is sleeping at night, I sit up. I'm a complete night owl. I don't sleep before 12 o'clock at night. And this just gives me time to just be quiet. And, at night I sit down and write down, some goals and dreams and, just short-term plans of how to, gain success in your life. So yeah, that would be amazing if I can get to a place, where I've written a book and I have a global movement going and I'm a successful businesswoman. But right now I still have a lot of challenges on my plate.
Wonderful. I think like this is really amazing to see, like also like how you look back and how you look forward. This very interesting to see. Like maybe I just like, because you said you are a night owl, we are actually the same. Like, what would you think if your kids one day would come and say, Mom, we want to go modeling? Would you say, oh wow, that's a great idea? Or would you say, maybe not the best idea? Like, or would you give them advice first to have a proper job? Or would you say, no, I have such a good experience with this, what I have done, that was just the right way to do, they can do it same way?
Yes, I think if it's always different when it's your own children as opposed to giving advice to be someone else, because you are more harsh on your children, I think. But I think I would definitely I would encourage them to more, I want to say that in terms of the whole modeling industry, I think the one thing I would focus more is on drama, in the sense of, presenting, being in front of, talking in front of an audience, talking in front of a camera. I think modeling as such is great. And, for as long as you can, do modeling, it's a good industry to be in. But I think when you're older as well, at some point you stop modeling and then you need something else to sustain you. So I would definitely encourage them to, first get your degree, or, if it's not a degree, get a diploma, just get qualified in it's an industry, so that you have something that you can always fall back to, should your modeling career not take off as you plan. Because I've seen a lot of times people spend so much time and money and just, everything into, say, for instance, modeling, and they just never get that career break that they wanted. And then at the end of the day, you're stuck because now you haven't done anything else. And the modeling industry are very picky. So, it's not everyone who makes it. You can be beautiful, but they're looking for that X factor. So the first thing I would definitely, advise my children is first just go and study, get a degree, even if you're not going to, work in that field right now. Just get that behind you and then pursue modeling part-time. I think definitely, doing that way, you ensure that at least, if you do make it as a model, you can do it full-time. And if you don't, you still have work to do. So, yeah, but I wouldn't be against it. I think it's a great industry. There's so many different brands that you can align yourself with. And I think it's also just, once again, just staying true to who you are and not ending up with negative or bad influences. Staying with professional companies who do it the right way and professionally. Then you'll be ensured that you'll be safe and have a success from it.
It's very important what you just said. We had Lulu like the other day. I think she was talking that her parents forced her to first study finance, and she said, I didn't like it at the time, but it helped me in my business so much. People cannot understand how much I benefit actually in my current business from what I actually had to learn, because my parents forced me to do that. I think sometimes it's not bad to have a proper professional job learned. Wonderful. I think time is flying so much here in the Golden Route, even more than well.
Thanks so much for your time. And I think what I like the most, actually, what you said, is that you want to write a book not only like about your success, but also about your failures. I think that takes a strong personality to also admit that not everything that that we do is the right way, but also to share it with other people so that they can learn from the same, like from the mistakes, and not do it like like in the same way, or at least that people can like see that not everything is just always shiny in the modeling business, you know, not everything is always with a lot of makeup, but there's also a real and a raw story behind it. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you very much.
Stay well, stay safe, and much success for conquering the world.
Thank you so much, and the same to you and your company.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.